God told me to warn you. Your future husband is around. This is the place they're at. There is a quiet reason you felt drawn to this message today, and it may be deeper than you realize. Somewhere in your heart, beneath all the practical thoughts and daily responsibilities, there has been a question you rarely say out loud. You have wondered if the person meant to walk beside you in the future is already somewhere in this world, living their life, carrying their own hopes, and unknowingly moving closer to the same story you are moving toward. If that thought has crossed your mind even once, stay with this. There is something important here. This is not about predicting a date or pointing to a specific face. It is about understanding a connection that seems to be forming long before two people ever meet. The message placed on my heart is simple. Your future husband is not as distant as you imagine. The feeling that something in your life is slowly shifting is not coming from nowhere. Over the past months, you may have noticed subtle changes within yourself. Things that once mattered so much no longer carry the same weight. Conversations feel different. Priorities are changing. Certain doors have quietly closed while others have begun opening. Many people think relationships begin the moment two individuals meet, but often the deeper preparation starts much earlier. While you have been growing through your own experiences, learning lessons you did not ask for, and gaining strength you did not know you needed, someone else has been going through a very similar process. The strange thing is that neither of you may fully understand why these changes have been happening. What stands out in this message is the sense of place, not a specific address, but an atmosphere. The person connected to your future seems to be spending time in a season of reflection rather than constant movement. They are not chasing attention. They are not trying to impress everyone around them. Instead, they are becoming more intentional about where they invest their energy. It feels like they have recently pulled back from noise and distraction. They may be spending more time in environments that help them think clearly, places where people gather with purpose rather than performance. A peaceful workplace, a meaningful project, a quiet community space, a place of learning, or somewhere that encourages growth rather than competition. Don't miss what comes next, because the significance is not the location itself. The significance is what that environment is helping them become. What you need to understand right now is that this connection is not being built through urgency. It is being built through preparation. You may sometimes feel impatient, wondering why certain relationships never worked out, or why some chapters ended before they could fully begin. Yet looking back honestly, you can probably see that each experience shaped you in some way. The same is true for the person connected to your future. At this very moment, they are learning things that will matter later. They are becoming someone capable of meeting you with greater understanding, greater maturity, and greater clarity. And while you cannot yet see the full picture, there is a growing sense that both paths are slowly moving toward a point neither of you expected. What that point looks like may surprise you more than you can imagine. Not every meaningful connection begins with a dramatic moment. Sometimes it begins with a feeling you cannot explain. A quiet sense that life is preparing something just beyond your current view. As you listen to this, think about the places you have felt unexpectedly drawn toward lately. Perhaps there is a certain environment that makes you feel calmer than usual. A place you keep returning to in your thoughts, or somewhere that seems ordinary on the surface, but leaves a lasting impression on your heart. Stay with this, because the message becomes clearer here. The person connected to your future appears to be spending time in a space where growth is happening naturally. It is not a place built around appearances. It is a place where people are becoming who they are meant to be, one step at a time. What is interesting is that this person may not feel completely settled right now. From the outside, they seem composed, responsible, and focused, but internally they have been asking important questions about their direction. They have reached a point where surface-level connections no longer satisfy them. They want depth. They want honesty. They want something real. In many ways, this mirrors what has been happening inside you. Even if your journey has looked different, there has been a growing desire for authenticity in your life as well. The unseen connection between you does not come from shared hobbies or matching preferences alone. It comes from the fact that both of you are learning similar lessons about trust, patience, and what truly matters. There is something important here that many people overlook. The strongest connections often begin long before either person realizes they exist. The place they are in feels connected to purpose rather than escape. It may involve work that challenges them, studies that expand their perspective, or a community that encourages personal growth. There is a sense of steady progress surrounding them. They are becoming more confident in who they are, not because everything is perfect, but because they have stopped trying to be someone else. This shift has changed the way they see relationships. They are no longer interested in temporary attention or shallow conversations. Instead, they are becoming someone who values consistency, kindness, and emotional presence. The environment around them is helping shape these qualities, almost like a quiet training ground for the next chapter of their life. As you continue forward, pay attention to the subtle changes happening within your own heart. Sometimes people focus so much on finding someone else that they miss the transformation taking place inside themselves. Yet this message suggests that your own growth is just as significant as theirs. Every lesson, every unexpected detour, every moment when you chose healing instead of bitterness has been creating space for something healthier and more meaningful. The remarkable thing is that while you may feel separate from this person right now, both stories seem to be moving in a similar direction. And as those paths continue to unfold, a detail about the way your lives may eventually cross is beginning to emerge. That detail changes everything, and it is closer to the surface than you think. There is a moment in every meaningful story when separate paths begin to bend toward one another, even though neither person can see it happening. That is the feeling surrounding this message right now. What stands out is not distance, but alignment. The person connected to your future seems to be entering a season where they are becoming more open to new experiences, new conversations, and new possibilities. For a long time, they may have focused almost entirely on responsibilities, goals, or personal healing. Their attention was directed inward because there were lessons they needed to learn on their own. But something is changing. A quiet openness is beginning to replace hesitation. They are becoming more willing to step into situations they once would have avoided. And that shift may play a larger role in your story than you realize. One detail continues to appear strongly in this message. The place they are spending time in does not feel isolated. It feels connected. Connected to people, ideas, learning, communication, and shared purpose. This could be a professional environment, a gathering built around common interests, a place where people exchange knowledge, or somewhere that encourages meaningful interaction. The reason this matters is because your future connection does not seem to emerge from chasing romance. It seems to emerge from living life authentically. Neither of you appears to be forcing anything. Instead, there is a sense that both of you are being guided toward experiences that naturally place you in the right environment at the right stage of your growth. Don't miss what comes next, because this changes the way many people think about relationships. You may have spent time wondering whether you need to do more, search harder, or somehow figure everything out before the future can unfold. Yet this message suggests the opposite. Some of the most important developments happen when people stop trying to control every outcome and begin focusing on becoming the healthiest version of themselves. The person connected to your future has been learning this lesson. Slowly, they are releasing expectations that no longer serve them. They are becoming more present, more grounded, more aware of what truly matters. And as they change, the qualities they are seeking in another person are changing too. What once attracted their attention no longer holds the same importance. They are beginning to value sincerity over perfection, depth over appearances, and genuine connection over temporary excitement. The remarkable part is that these same themes seem to be appearing in your life as well. Perhaps you have noticed yourself becoming more selective about where you invest your energy. Perhaps you have started valuing peace more than approval, authenticity more than performance. If so, that is not a coincidence within the context of this message. It is a sign of preparation. Both stories appear to be moving through a similar transformation, creating a foundation strong enough to support something meaningful when the time is right. And there is one more detail that has not yet been revealed, a clue about the energy surrounding the eventual meeting itself. The feeling attached to it is not dramatic or overwhelming. It is something far more surprising than that, and understanding it may change the way you see this entire journey.